Alrighty, guys, that's what's going on. So this is kind of just a news segment I like to just call, well, Joe says shit. I don't know. Might be just a kind of an extra content on top of the Fresh Cup of Joe podcast with regular guests. Might just be something I just want to talk about. Random shit, solo kind of podcast. Yeah, just stuff I want to talk about, lighthearted stuff like genocide. No, I can't do that, man. I can't talk about crazy shit like genocide, man. I just don't have it in me. Yep. So this is another lighthearted project that I want to do. Just bring up some relevant news. I don't know, whatever you want to clarify it as. So let's just get started on what I want to talk about. Okay, so apparently El Salvador has passed a law to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. I mean, that's pretty cool. For someone who is an avid, kind of believer and investor in Bitcoin, this is actually pretty fucking sick. So basically, what happened here is that El Salvador just passed a law that allows Bitcoin to become legal tender. This means that the prices can now be shown in Bitcoin and tax contributions can be paid with digital currency. And holy shit, so just letting you know, I'm actually outside and there's some fucking guy on a motorcycle just speeding like 120 kilometers per hour. It's pretty crazy because I actually just got my motorcycle license and my buddy is like, hey man, why are you paying so much money just to elaborately kill yourself? And I'm like, fuck, man, that's the cold hard truth, man. That's the cold hard truth, because it's like it offers very little protection, man. I mean, you have obviously the leather pants, the jacket, the shoes, and the helmet and the gloves, but when you're going at speeds of 120 kilometers per hour, man, that tends to cause a lot of damage to your body, man. And I don't know, I'm just never when I see people do that, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, Yeah, it's like your body's precious, man. Your life is precious. I get it. You gotta kind of do shit, but can you just imagine, man? You're just like, yeah, man, I'm just gonna fucking go 120 kilometers per hour and just zoom past all the cars. Then just some shit on the road lands, like a tire or something. You just flip over. Oh man, dude, you just be a vegetable, man. Fuck. Oh my gosh, yeah. Dude, you know what, man? It's like when people fucking drive, man. It's like I think they forget that you're in a car, man. Maybe it's because I rarely drive and I still kind of have to think about what I do. It doesn't just come on a subconscious basis. That I still think, man, that if I go a lot over the speed limit, man, I'm literally endangering the lives of everyone inside the car, if not my own life or someone else's life, man. Those machines, man, they're not something to be fucked with, man. They're not something to be fucked with at all, man. It's this is kind of why I just prefer taking the bus and the SkyTrain, mainly because you don't have to think while you're on the thing. It kind of just goes to your location. It's like I had this one buddy. He's like, you have a class 5, but why don't you ever drive? And I'm just like, number one, because I live in the city. For those who don't know, Vancouver is a great city when it comes to public transportation. It's fucking sick. You can actually get, if you're in the city and if you live near a station, which I do, coincidentally, you can actually get to anywhere without taking a car. It's so much more easier sometimes. It's actually a lot faster. Especially if you want to go to the boonies or something, or out there. I'm by a station where that kind of goes there pretty quickly, way faster than a car. And you can just sleep on it. You don't even have to think about it. It's pretty nice. But yeah, that's why I don't really drive that often. It's because I don't really see, kind of the need to be honest. I mean, the only time I really would want to is when we go somewhere that isn't, transit friendly, right? Yeah, just a bit of backstory. My brother uses the car basically 5 days a week for work, but now that he has work from home from the inside, that car has been outside our lot for a week and it hasn't even moved an inch. It kind of just shows you how little we drive around, or basically how little I drive around here, right? I mean, if I want to play golf, yeah, sure, But like I said, I don't really need a car, not just yet. I have the access to the rental car, which is good enough as it is because I don't need to pay the freaking insurance rates as well. 41 cents a minute with gas and insurance. Hey, not bad, especially for someone who uses the car once a week or twice a week or whatever it is. Yeah, can't complain. But yeah, back to Bitcoin. I mean, like I said, for someone who's for someone who's a believer in it, it's pretty cool to see a country like adopt this shit. But it's also hella volatile, like really volatile. Like this thing can go up and down on a base of Elon's tweets or on anyone's tweets. It's like the whole Ronaldo Coca-Cola thing, right? Like there's the Euros, right? And he had like the conference and he just sits down, right? And there's like these like 2 Coca-Cola cans and he just picks them up and just moves them to the side. So when Ronaldo like kind of pushed those Coca-Cola cans away because I think he was just like, yeah, man, like I just don't want to have unhealthy things around me. If it kind of makes sense. I mean, you are fucking dealing with elite athletes that usually don't drink Coca-Cola, or if not at all, right? It's so funny. So what happened was like the price of Coca-Cola dropped by like, let me just double check this, man. How much did the price of Coca-Cola drop? Which also is bad for my stocks because they also went down too. Coca-Cola stock price. Let's see how far this. Oh no, it's up by 12% today. But let's see. Just made stock interesting. Oh yeah, so Coca-Cola shares dropped 4 billion after Ronaldo gestures to drink water. I mean, well, there you go, right? You see, it just goes to it's so weird. Like how does doing something like that, drop the price of Coca-Cola, right? It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm a weirdo. Maybe I'm a nut job. But yeah, that's just the way it is. Okay, but like Bitcoin. So it's weird because like this thing isn't like backed by anything. It's just kind of like whatever people value it as, and I think that's what makes it so volatile. Because like when Elon said that his Tesla would be the richest company man in the world would say, hey, look, using Bitcoin as a form of payment, that basically legitimized the form of it being a currency to take over the world, right? But so that obviously raised the price. But as soon as he said Tesla will not be taking Bitcoin as as a form of payment, or it would be selling its supposed lot of Bitcoin shares of Bitcoin or whatever it is, even though apparently it wasn't, the price of Bitcoin also dropped significantly. So it's hella volatile, man. It's like the price of a currency depends on a couple tweets before it goes up and down in value. It's pretty fucked. Like, can you like imagine just buying a house in El Salvador and you're like, hey, look, man, like this is a pretty good house, man. I want to buy it with X Bitcoin, and they're like, yeah, okay, man, yeah, sure. Then like during the fucking contract, like the price of Bitcoin just fucking goes down like 12%, and you're like, fuck, I gotta pay more Bitcoin. So you end up paying more Bitcoin, right? Then as soon as like the paper's signed and shit, like it goes up, and you're just like, fuck, I just lost so much money. That'd be me, dude. I'd be so fucking pissed. Yeah, it's like, I'd be pissed, dude. Like if the contract is like signed or something, and like I just sold Bitcoin, I'd be like this. Like, that'd be it, man. I mean, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be a very happy camper. But I mean, honestly, man, I'm still excited. I'm very excited for this change, though, man. El Salvador is adopting this this currency, and as an avid believer in Bitcoin, it's a good thing to see that happen. Because I think it fixes a lot of the issues that it comes with. Like, for example, like it fixes the money supply, so it doesn't just mean that like governments can just print out more money, which causes hyperinflation. I mean, or basically devalues the dollar in a sense. I think that's a good way to fix it, because it's set out, I believe 21 million Bitcoin. That's kind of like the most you can ever print. So it's kind of fixed at that system, at that number. But yeah, I mean, it's good, man. I'm excited for the change and see where that goes. But yeah. So next is Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. Like, it's crazy, man. Like in my opinion, like how celebrity boxing has just freaking exploded, man. It's nuts, man. I mean, I actually love it though, man. I mean, it's boxing has kind of always been like that, to be honest, but it's just kind of taken on a new like level, like influencer boxing, because it used to be YouTuber boxing, where I think the first big match was this guy named KSI, right, big YouTuber, versus Jake Weller, right, both UK YouTubers, and yeah, they had a boxing match, I believe 3 years ago. It's been a while. Wow. Yeah, and it turned out to bring in a lot of numbers. And it was hella entertaining, and a lot of 7 to 14-year-old fans paid for the tickets, while you could be a total Chad and a legend and just wait for the actual account Danzon to just show that shit for free on YouTube a year later or months later, or even just watch it on YouTube minutes or hours after the stream ends, and you can see a whole bunch of people uploading that shit for free. So yeah. But man, it's like, dude, Jake Paul has that energy, man. He is a master when it comes to marketing, man. Like, love it or hate the dude, the man knows how to make the money. Man knows how to market. Like when he was at UFC, like 261, I believe, the crowd booed him. They're just like, "Get the fuck out of here, Jake Paul, you suck." And you know what, man? Like, you know what Jake was hearing, man, when he fucking heard that shit? I bet you he was hearing this, man. He was probably hearing, "Money, money, 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 money." You know, the whole, like, Shane McMahon thing where, like, you know, he's just kind of walking out, or, like, that Vince McMahon, you know, kind of ultra walk where he just walks his shoulders like this. A little Conor McGregor, like, walk when he walks like that, too. Just fucking like this. You know, it just has that fuck you money, dude. Like, fuck, I wish I had fuck you money, man. But, like, dude, that's what Jake Paul, man. That's what Jake Paul is hearing, man. He's hearing that money, man. When people hate on him, it's like, yeah, you're gonna hate on me, but you're also gonna watch my shit. Let's be frank here. You're gonna watch my shit. Like, dude, now I just remember, man, like, there's a segment, man, on WWE. Like, it's weird, man. It's like politicians and politics are like WWE, where you know it's fake and they do a lot of, you know, kind of fake virtue signaling, but nobody gives a fuck. It's WWE is great for that, man. I mean, so now I remember this segment, man, where like Shane was like in the back alley, like in the kind of the back of the WWE course, and yeah, he was walking, man, and he just gets fucking jumped and has his head smashed through a car. I don't know what it is about WWE, man, but that stuff is hella entertaining, man. It's so fucking funny, man. Oh, man. Yeah. And you just start beating the fuck out of him, and you know it's fake. It's good old Attitude Era, man. It's like, you had, like, people that would play these roles and these characters, and they're so ridiculous. Like, you got, like, the Boogeyman, who would fucking smash a clock on his head. You also had worms coming out of his mouth. You got the Undertaker, who was a dead man walking. You got Shawn Michaels, pretty boy Shawn Michaels. You got RVD with the kicks and the was it the Rolling Thunder, where he just does like a somersault. You got my favorite one. Honestly, one of my favorite characters is Booker T. Just the spinneroo, the 5-time champion, just slaps people across the chest. Oh man, what a time, man! Rey Mysterio. It's great. I still have the WrestleMania 19 game, like, on the GameCube, and it works perfectly fine. Yeah, that game was like really good because, like, it doesn't have a lot of the stamina, you know, kind of things. It doesn't have a lot of the realism. Like, you can throw people off buildings, you can throw people into cars, you can sledgehammers and smash them in the head with it. Oh man, I wish wrestling games would go back to that. But I have a 2K19 game right now, man, for wrestling, and it's different, man. It sucks. Everyone's slow. You got stamina. I don't know. I don't like it. I have a lot less realism and a lot more fun when it comes to these games. But yeah, back to the Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. So for those who don't know, Tyron Woodley is a decorated welterweight UFC champion, yo. Like, this dude has knocked motherfuckers out, man. He has a crazy overhand, and it's nuts. I mean, but you know what? It's even more nuts, man. I initially thought that, you know, Jake Paul has like zero chance against Tyron Woodley, but just even looking at the odds, apparently Jake Paul has a 58% chance of winning, and Tyron's the underdog. Like, holy shit! Like, a kid from Disney who used to create YouTube videos has a higher chance of beating a decorated welterweight UFC champion and also future Hall of Famer. It's pretty fucking nuts, man. It blew my goddamn mind. Yeah, so, I mean, Tyron has 3 months to train, but he's also training with the best, like, defensive boxer on the planet, which is Floyd Mayweather. Like, he's in good hands, man, and I can't wait to see the fight, but 58% chance, huh? That's crazy. Jake Paul has a 58% chance of winning against Tyron Woodley, a decorated UFC champ. But dude, I like, honestly, just he's gonna be the most toughest opponent by far. I mean, who has Jake Paul fought? He's fought Deji, who lost again. He lost his second fight against Vinny Hacker, another TikToker. He fought against Anson Yeb, who's actually improved. Like, if you watch his recent fight against this TikToker named what was his name again? Taylor Holder, I believe. I don't know, man. Taylor, he looked really good. So, but he beat him. But yeah, Jake Paul beat him in the first round. I think technical knockout. He beat a retired NBA star. He beat Nate Robinson, who just fell to the floor. Like, I'm not gonna knock Jake Paul. This dude has some crazy knockout power. And he knocked Nate Robinson to the floor in one round. And you can tell when someone's nervous is because, like, when they just rush in a straight line without moving their head. Like, I used to do that a lot when it comes to sparring. But I think after you get hit in a while, and I think once the nerves kind of settle in, you kind of just tend to move a bit more. So moving in a straight line, trying to hit the opponent's head. So you can kind of see where that was from. But yeah, man, just dude knocked the fuck out. He was just like, yeah, I'm gonna surprise and show the world and shit. But yeah, got his ass knocked out badly too. Jake has some good knockout power, and then he knocked out Ben Askren in technical knockout in the first round. Keep in mind, like, there was a commentator who said that Ben looked like a bag of milk. He just took off his shirt, and like, it was just like the biggest dad bod I've ever seen. You'd be like, if you didn't know who Ben Askren was, if you just saw him on the beach, you'd kind of just be like, wow, this dude is this dude a fighter, really? I mean, but I guess, you know, Ben Askren, who is a really good wrestler who utilizes a lot in MMA, but man, when it comes to striking, it's probably one of the worst strikers in the division, man. I'm not gonna lie, no cap. But yeah, I'm so excited to see the fight. I'm probably just gonna see it at a bar if they even host it at a bar. If not, probably just look on Twitter, because that's where I really get my news. Yeah, and see who wins the fight. So apparently, last Saturday was TikTok versus YouTube, and I'm actually recording this on Thursday because I recorded this on Wednesday morning and the audio didn't work. So now I'm re-recording again on Thursday morning, and hopefully the audio works this time. Yeah, so TikTok versus YouTuber match. I was supposed to record this initially on Saturday, but it got delayed almost like a week. But yeah, my day was packed to the freaking brim, man. Like, I was out from 9:15 a.m. and I got home around 12 a.m. So that's a long ass day. It was fucked. I used to have days like this though, like before the pandemic, and kind of when I went to the office. Like, I was up at like 5 and went to the gym around 5:30, and I would work out to like 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then I would have a shower and get to work, and then I would start work from 8. It would be from 8 to 4. Then after that, I would probably have about an hour to chill, 2 hours to chill, do a podcast session at the university, or have some sort of, you know, networking event that would take me till like 9 o'clock or whatever. Then I would eat. It'd be like 10. Then I'd get home. It'd be like 11. So I used to have days like that, man. And looking back now, it's like, how the hell did I have the energy to do all that? It was man. It was fucked. No wonder I was just tired. I was kind of fat. I got sick. But honestly, I like, guess what now, man? Like I value like my time and sleep a lot more, man. Like I don't sleep that late anymore. I usually go to bed around 10 to 10:30 because I like to wake up in the morning and do work. It's because like most of my day is kind of free at that point. Like I know a lot of my friends are like, "Hey, look, let's go hang out at the afternoon or night." And it sucks because I can't hang out too late. Like I can hang out like early evenings. Like I'd rather just do stuff like in the early afternoon. But like when some motherfuckers are like, "Hey, look, man, let's go to like 3 a.m." I'm like, dude, I can't do that, man. I gotta work, right? Like I gotta work on this thing. I love doing this, right? I don't want to make this thing a reality. I want to make this a full time. But yeah, it's kind of choosing to prioritize, right? I mean, back in the day when I was on my last semester of university, man, I used to just party every week. I was done all my econ courses. The only thing I had was this easy archaeology course. Okay, so you're supposed to go through like your advisor, right? Like kind of like a semester before you graduate, just to kind of plan shit out. And he was just like, "Oh, you need one more course." I'm like, "Oh fuck, I need one more course." And so I signed up for archaeology, right? And he was just like, "I'm not gonna try to recommend this to you, but you need a D to pass." And all I heard was a D. I'm like, okay. So that basically means I need like 49 to 50%. Cool, I can get that done. And it was so fucked. So like, I never went to class. I didn't take any notes. I just looked at the PowerPoints and studied like the night before the exam, hoping I can just score like a D. And I just partied every weekend, man. I didn't give a fuck. But I also had a full-time job at the time. So it was kind of the full-time job that took me in after I graduated university. It's I was really grateful because this company took me in a year before I graduated. And they knew that. I think this is kind of the reasons why they took me in. And yeah, I didn't have that long period of unemployment, like which a lot of my friends had when they initially graduated. So I was very grateful, right? Like a year before I graduated, I had a job set for me, so I wasn't worried about what I was gonna do or what I was gonna get. I had an established, insurance job, and by the time I got out of it, I only doubled down on the education, and they kind of obviously promoted me to a different level. And even now they're looking at stuff like that, right? But it's cool though, man. I always recommend at least a year like before you graduate to always try to find a company that would take you in. And even then, like, try to work there full time. So then you're at least guaranteed a position there after you graduate. So you don't have to have that long period of unemployment. But yeah, I was pretty grateful for that, man. I was pretty fucking grateful. But yeah, I partied every week because I knew I had like a job set after I graduated. I didn't have to like show off my grades or shit like that. Like there was this company, man, a bank that I applied to, and they asked me, like, what's your GPA? And for those who don't know, I actually didn't do very well in university. I just did enough to basically pass university because I did SFU econ, man, and it's notoriously hard because apparently what happened was that it's almost like a business reject, which was what I was, right? Like like for those who didn't make into business, you have to go into econ, right? And there's a lot of kids that went into econ that weren't supposed to go in there because it's very math heavy based. So they had a lot of gatekeeper courses, and even after the gatekeeper courses, there are still other gatekeeper courses on top of that that would fucking just, they would just get rid of you. It doesn't make any sense. Like when you're like this close to graduating, when you're 1 or 2 courses from graduating, why would you have a gatekeeper course? Why? It doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah, and it's just, it's so weird because it's like, okay, you think this degree, this economics degree, because they made it so hard, it could have some prestige. Nobody gives a fuck, man. Really, like, outside of the real world, man, most of these companies don't give a fuck about your degree. Like, I can tell you, my company didn't really kind of look into it. Like it's such propaganda from the university, and they sold me, man. If you want to go into car sales, hire those guys to do it, man, because they sold me on the freaking degree. That is, it's we make it hard because it's valuable and some other bullshit like that. But in reality, man, it's just a way for you to scrounge up money, man. Because let's say like you can't redo a course like twice. So 3 times. So once you fail a course twice, you kind of have to like put it as your minor than have another like minor on top of that. And that's just more time for you to be in school, for more time for the universities to make money. What a fucking sham. Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, man, I am still pretty happy that I took it. I recommend my cousins to not, kind of go down that route, because I think a trade is kind of where it's at now. We're all going to be automated from our jobs. Yeah, man, trades, it's where it's at, man. There's a good demand for them, good money. Yeah, being a plumber, man, dude, you make so much money as a plumber, man. Like, I have a family friend who's a plumber, and they make tons of money. Like, then now he has his own business, like, with like 2 people or 3 people, like, fixing up people's houses and shit. It's a good way, man. It's a good way to make money, and those type of jobs, like trades and all that shit, should not be knocked down, man. And I'm happy that my cousins are going into it, man. They learned from us, and I'm happy that they're at least taking the lessons they learned from us and going a different route. What was it? What was I talking about, man? What was I fucking talking about? Yeah, the whole TikTok versus YouTuber match. Yeah, the Bryce Hall versus Austin McBroom. So for those who don't know, it was let's see where I'm at. Yeah, it was Bryce Hall versus Austin McBroom, man. And this guy, Bryce Hall, was a big shit talker, man. Before the fight, he was like, "Yeah, I was in 40 street fights. I never lost a match." And he got his ass beat. Funny, because I actually bet on the 21-year-old kid that takes steroids, to beat a like 30-plus-year-old NBA guy who has a family channel. And lo and behold, I lost money on that bet. Not too happy about it, but it was also very entertaining to watch. And well, honestly, I'm too old to watch this stuff anyways. Like, just looking at the audience, for like 7 to 14-year-old kids. I also didn't pay a dime to watch this thing, but yeah, fuck, I'm 26, man. I shouldn't be talking about this stuff. But yeah, I lost some money on the fight, man. And I was actually going to record this Saturday morning, so I wouldn't have this material to talk with. But things happen for a reason, and thank goodness it's delayed. So yeah. All right, what else is here, man? So on Saturday, man, like there was a hangout at night. So the guy was like, "Hey, man, 7:30, let's go meet up at the restaurant or something." So we did. And obviously a couple other buddies didn't come until like 8:30, 9 o'clock, because Filipino time or whatever. It's when they say 7:30, they mean like fucking 9 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, it's fucking weird. No, but then again, I do that all the time. But I always get pissed off when someone else does it. It's like, fuck, you're late, but I'm always late, right? So they pulled that shit. We were at there till 10, then we hung out till 11. Then I told them I had to go. But my buddy was like, "Hey, man, like, no, man, look, let's go to this warehouse, my family's warehouse, because he owns his family owns like a clothing like store, so they have a warehouse where they would go party and shit." And like, they're trying to convince me, they're like, "Hey, man, like, we'll stick for like an hour, 2 hours." But I knew, man, if I went out with them, I would have been out till 3 a.m. So I would have been out from 15 a.m. to like 3 o'clock in the morning, and that would have just fucked my entire body. And plus, Sunday morning I also had a session at 10 a.m., which is now canceled. But I needed the body to rest. I needed to rest, man. Like, that's the thing. It's just, I can't just keep partying, man. Like, as much as I do, I'd rather work on this in the morning, because I just feel more productive, man. I feel better. Like, I think there comes a point in time where, like, I just like to sleep, man. Like, I like to do stuff in the afternoon, during the day, during the morning, work on my business, and in the afternoon, hang out with friends. But the trade-off is that I can't really hang out too late at night. It's because I want to wake up and work in the morning, man. And yeah, that's it, man. I think I'm just getting to that age, man, where I like to party still, don't get me wrong, but just not till like fucking 2 a.m., maybe 12 a.m. Come home at 1 or something, get some sleep, and yeah, wake up and work, so I don't get totally fucked. Yeah, I'm also not a fan of getting absolutely just fucking shit-faced either, because it just fucking ruins your productivity, man. Like, I never got the appeal of going so hard that you either black out or you get a hangover the next day. Like, I'd rather have a couple drinks and know that I'm buzzed and have a good time and wake up in the morning and still get work done. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not a heavy drinker. I'm also not like a guy that can party till 2, 3 a.m. Maybe it's a sign of maturity, man. Maybe I'm just realizing all this time, man, that this is probably more fun and more fulfilling for me, man. To, work on the business, to, provide content that I think is valuable for a lot of people. And yeah, I want to make this my reality. So thank you so much for listening to the first episode of the Solo Joe show, branch off the Fresh Cup of Joe podcast. My Patreon will be up pretty soon, so help support me and my dream. The link will be in the show notes below, guys. Thank you so much, and have yourself a great rest of your day, whenever and whatever time you are listening to this.